Today I'm going to show you how to do some coloring of some stamp prints. Okay, I like to color the leaves first, and I start with a light color. You see that I'm using colored pencils. I have not felt like I really like the markers. I feel like the marker colors are way too strong, and I like my colors to be more soft and more subtle, and I also like to have control over my colors, so that I have some colors light and some dark, which I could do with colored pencils. So I'll put on my light color, and then I like to have more than one color in my leaves. So I will choose maybe half of the leaf, or maybe just the outside of it. So I have just a little bit of light and mostly dark. Okay, I think this, we'll just do that middle part. We'll do this, maybe the middle part. You can really do it anyway. I just think it looks nicer if the leaf is not all the same color. I like to see at least two colors in the leaf. Sometimes I'll put a little yellow in it. I keep a sharpener near my desk, a small hand sharpener, and I have a garbage can to the right so I can throw all my trash, paper scraps, and pencil shavings there. So we use 3 colors in our leaves, and now we are going to do a flower. I think I want this other one to be more of a red rose. I mean, it could be a peach rose or a lavender rose, but I am going to start with pink. I always start with my lightest color, and I'm just going to kind of go over the entire flower, just to lay in some light color. I'm not worried right at the moment about direction, as long I'm putting my color on smooth, so you don't really see the direction that I'm coloring. I'll be a lot more careful with the next color. So I've kind of toned the whole flower. Now that's something everybody can do, and some people will say, well, that's good enough. It's a pink rose. Well, to me that's flat because it's all one color, and I would like to see it have a lot more color, a lot more depth. So I'm going to choose me a red because I want this to be a red flower. Now we want the deep spaces, like right here. This is a this petal is behind, and so we darken it close to the bottom, and we just try to fade the color up just a little bit. I'll leave a little bit of light on the top. Kind of put a little too much color in there. Let me do this one. We'll start down at the bottom of the flower, the petal, and then we just lightly fade the color up, leaving the top edge just a little bit of pink left. You have to think about what shape these petals are. It's easy to understand the ones on the back, so I'll do those first. Now, a little bit of color right here, and then I'm going to go very light with a light touch, leaving, see how it's darker, then a little bit lighter, and I'm leaving the pink on the very top. Here's another back petal, so this will be very dark right here. This is more of a red rose. And then fade, 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 fade. And I do kind of pay attention to the direction, you know, of the petals. This one is laying out that way, so the strokes are going to go that direction. It'll be darkest right up close to behind the petal that's in front of it, and then go very light. Just kind of fading our colors out. Okay, this one is laying this direction, so we'll put the dark right here, just maybe a tiny bit there, and then go fade with a much softer touch, leaving the top edge kind of pink. Now down inside here we could have a nice dark place, and I think I want to put a little bit of tiny color there, and right here just the base of that, leave the top edge pink. It's always about, you see, this light edge makes this in front. The dark here makes that petal behind. And that's what it's all about. Here, we'll just put a little bit of color at the bottom of this because it goes down deep inside the rose. And we got these two. We don't like this light spot, so let's make this one dark right there. And I guess we need to put a tiny bit, not much space to work. You need to have sharp pencils. Okay, got a white spot there. I don't like that. Well, it's okay if it's a little bit more dark in the center. Okay, this petal's coming out this way, so the strokes will go that direction. Dark down here, a little bit of dark behind, but not too far, and then fade, fade, fade. Really soft, 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 with a light touch. See, with color pencils, you can press harder when you want it to be nice and dark, and you can press light when you want it to be light. This one is underneath all of those, so we have to have a dark edge because these petals are going to cast a shadow, so they would be naturally darker. And I'm trying to preserve a little bit of the pink. I don't want to just color the whole thing red because then it would look flat again. Okay, now this petal seems to wrap around the front, so I want the color to be sort of rounded. Right here is the down where it goes down inside, and then it gets lighter as it comes out, so a soft touch. Okay, now this one, have to decide, is it standing up this way? Is it bending over? I guess I could do whatever I want with it. Because it's rounded there, I'd say it was bending over, so I'm going to make sort of an arch color right here. So you have a pink rose and a red rose, and you can make them whatever color you choose. It's just a matter of having darks and lights so that it looks or two-dimensional rather than just flat, because if anything is just one color, it's flat. Now, I did use permanent black ink when I stamped, and one of the nice things about the black ink, that is the basic black, it is permanent, it's waterproof, so if you want to do it on watercolor paper, you can also use the watercolor pencils and color them. And I like to do that sometimes. Here's some examples of different colors you could use for the same rose. Here's another little tip. Sometimes when you print, you don't get a good print. Get yourself some of these little micron pens, and you can go around and make that line a little bit better. This one sort of was faded. Sometimes you don't press the stamps evenly, and then you miss part of a design, so it's a good idea to have a little fine micron pen, and they're also waterproof, so if you use them with watercolor. Okay, oftentimes the center of a flower is yellow. That might even spill out into the middle just a little bit. I'm gonna make this one slightly, well, that's sort of orange. I wanted it to be a little more red, but I thought this was a reddish color. Well, okay, I couldn't read the color on the pencil. I think I'll get a different red in a minute. So I'll kind of fade the color as we come to the center. Make it a little bit darker on the outside, and then fade it towards the center. Leaving just a little bit of that yellow in the middle. You can choose whatever colors you could do, like blues and purples. Now let me get a pretty red, and I want to just darken the outside just a little bit more with a much more bold, pretty red color. So the outside edges of the petals all the way to color right on the black outline. So the color gets lighter and lighter as it comes to the middle. It's darkest on the outside edges. And then those little black outlines don't look so bad. Here are just a few examples of how you could color this small flower. I don't even know what kind of a flower it is. And there are more options. You're not limited to just these colors. Like I should do a lighter pink one or a fuchsia colored one. These little guys were done with the watercolor pencils, and then I can move the paint around a little bit and blend with small paintbrushes. I'll show you how to do that in another video. I want to show you how to color the basket.